This conference will now be recorded.
I recognize. I've talked to him before, and I can't remember why.
Looks like
No, no, it's not. I know it's.
generation.
There you go. That's exactly right. There you go. Okay, a variance. Absolutely. That's right. Oh, so yeah, yeah. Okay. Knew that I had talked. That was quite a face. Gee, it's almost like someone put out an email.
Can't imagine who would be as low to do that.
Do the smart things like Steve Jobs has.
So yeah, we'll have some fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, most, I've always said I 5%, give each of my kids a couple percent, and then the rest is covered. That way, we have plenty to have fun with.
Can you see Kelly?
Pardon me?
Can you see Kelly?
I can see her because she's sitting around the side. You can't see her, right?
No.
But not so much that it turns you into a
Yeah.
throw it all away by a private island and waste it.
We need to talk up top. Right?
Hey, you give a lot of it. Right?
No, I mean, now.
I was thinking, I mean,
You have your phone, what's the time?
year.
6:01.
Okay.
Right
Shall
now,
we?
they say,
Right?
on Thursday.
Okay. Susan, this was saying. No. All right, good evening, everyone. I call to order the meeting of the Town Commission on November 7th, 2022 at 6:01 p.m. Thank you to those that are listening to our live audio feed. And just a reminder that those that wish to make public comment during the meeting are encouraged to attend in person, not a problem, in our chambers or send comments to the town clerk prior to the meeting. Town Clerk Avery, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Pugh,
Here.
Vice Mayor Tassett,
Present.
Commissioner Michalek,
Here.
Commissioner Cos,
Here.
and Mayor Hobart.
Present. Would everybody rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, then I would like everybody to please take a moment of silence for Dr. Jim Weedy, passed away 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks? Yes. Passed away 2 weeks ago. So let's think good thoughts. All right, then. Going to ask, are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Items 5 and 6, resolutions 2022-18 and 2022-19 have been recommended to be removed. Item 16, the first reading of ordinance 2022-15, the advisory board for the tree board has been recommended to be removed. And we would like to add an item, it would be item 9A to the consent agenda. It is a resolution, it would be resolution 2022-20 for declaring a state of emergency effective on Wednesday, the 9th at 12 p.m. for Tropical Storm Nicole.
All right, then. I will
Madam
entertain.
Mayor,
Yes.
I also have 2 additions. I have an announcement that I'd like to be seen as announcement J, and also under commissioner comments, I'd like to discuss employee contracts.
All right, then.
I'm sorry, I didn't have my microphone on.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I would like to add an announcement under announcements, that would be J, and then I would also, under commissioner comments, like to discuss employee contracts.
All right. So let's go.
Well, I got one too, Madam Mayor. On item number 10, I'm going to have to recuse myself because I have a relationship with the applicant. And I've already filled out my Form 8B and turned it in.
I have some submitted to the clerk.
Should we have discussion on some of the removals or? do you just want to vote on it? Because item number 16, I would like to have a discussion no matter what. Just a base discussion on it.
All right, remind me here with all our,
That's the tree board.
we could, because I had something I was going to read as well, because I was going to make the motion. Me too. I was going to make the motion to removal, so I'll start.
So we're leaving 16 in.
Nope. So, well, we're going to vote on it, but I'm just going to say something before we put our vote, all right? So here's my comment on removing, because I requested for the removal. We're going to remove ordinance 2022-15 regarding the Tree Advisory Board. I'd like to make this very clear that the way the ordinance was written did not express the original intent, which was to fill a requirement for Ocean Ridge to partner with the National Arbor Day Foundation as a member of Tree City USA. The desire was to join the 4,000 other municipalities who celebrate Arbor Day with the planting of a tree. Steps necessary to join included naming a tree board, but was never the intention to oversee anything more than a singular Arbor Day celebration. So therefore, because we're not happy with the language, my suggestion is we'll remove it and deal with it down the line. So did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yes, I just hope that
Okay.
down the line it's going to be soon.
So,
Okay.
I don't want to table this and just, forget about it, because I think it's an important, I would like to have Ocean Ridge as a tree city.
I agree, but I'm thinking that the way this was
Yes,
written
there's-
wasn't
There's
working.
flaws in there, that's why I was
Correct.
hoping that we can just discuss the flaws and straighten up this ordinance and just get it done.
Well, I think
If
what,
you want to have staff first review it and then come back to us, it's fine.
absolutely, we put it back on Christie and the discussion, because as I said, the intent was for one situation only, which was once a year to celebrate Arbor Day and plant a tree in partnership with the Garden Club. Nothing more, nothing less. So therefore, that's why I'm going to take it off, because that's not how it read.
so I'm confused.
Huh?
Because that's my memory as well. We all agreed to plant a tree for Arbor Day each year.
Correct.
But what I'm totally lost on is why would town staff energy and time then go to do, like, who instructed the town staff to do an ordinance that the commission hadn't approved? Because it takes quite a bit of time to do this. And we do know from the nature of the language in the ordinance that there wasn't much thought given to it. It was really jammed. So that process shouldn't happen again on any ordinance.
Well, consensus in March was to let the town manager work with the representative from the Garden Club on the Arbor Day Foundation dictums. And one of the dictums was tree board. So that's where it started. That's where it went. And it kind of went down a rabbit hole there. So we're going to deal with that at another time. That's how that happened. Understand?
I just don't remember the intersection. I
Oh, yes.
remember Arbor Day totally. I do not remember any recommendation to the staff to commence an ordinance so that we have a tree board.
That's part of the dictums of becoming Tree City. So therefore,
But that's not Arbor Day.
that was the consensus, was to work with Tracy. So at the moment, it's off the table, right? So,
So as long as we don't come up to a mysterious ordinance in the
Right.
future.
well, we see where this went down the wrong loop.
Yeah, how about this? Why don't we just ask the town staff, give us, each one of us, a packet of what it takes to be a tree board, and then we research it ourselves.
You can pull up the Arbor Day
I
Foundation.
don't need to pull up the other, that's why I have town staff.
You just said you didn't want that.
So, no, but this time, you brought it up. This is now an issue, right? It was an Arbor Day issue, now it's a tree issue, and it's not gonna die until we, as a group, say yes or no. So I'd like to see exactly what it takes.
We said yes.
Well, no, we didn't say, we said yes to certain parameters. We're getting a little too much into the weeds in this. Because what was sold to us and what comes up with this ordinance is two entirely different things.
And that's why we're taking it off, because exactly
Which
right.
I want to take it.
Right,
But
not a problem.
The point is, though, there's a lot more to it. I was talking to the town manager, and she was telling us, it's a lot more to being a tree city than just Arbor Day. So I'm just asking, could you just get me all the information down on Tree City?
Right, and Kelly has it as well, because the Garden Club passed it on to Kelly, who's also been part of having Tree Cities before, correct? So, not too,
All right, so we've taken it off the agenda?
somebody's got the mamas and papas going here. So, yeah, it's definitely, so, so how about we entertain a motion on the approval of the agenda as amended with removal of the ordinance, the resolutions, and addition of the resolution for the emergency. Does that cover it all?
And comments.
And comments, sorry. That covered all?
And
Everybody good
recusal.
on that?
And recusal.
Oh, God, and
recusal.
recusal. Yes, sir. Everybody good?
So moved to.
Second.
Kelly, would you like to call the roll? Just giving you one more thing to do.
Commissioner Pugh,
Yes.
Vice Mayor DeHazen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cos,
Aye.
Commissioner
Ooh.
Michelek,
Yes.
Mayor Holbert,
Yes. All right, motion carries unanimously. All right, we are taking, Mrs. Whitfield is off the agenda as well. She was unable to make that, but I believe she left us some paperwork out in the hallway if anybody's interested in talking about the election school tax referendum. All right, Town Clerk Avery, would you please read the announcements?
The meeting schedule for the next month is as follows. Regular Town Commission meeting, Monday, December 5th at 6 p.m. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Monday, November 21st at 8 a.m. All meetings are held in the Commission chambers at Town Hall. Please join us Monday, November 7th.
Yeah.
That one's kind of gone.
Ship is sailed.
Refurbishment of the Porter Street Beach crossover began on October 3rd. The crossover will be closed for approximately 8 weeks while the work is being completed. The FDOT drainage project on Ocean Boulevard A1A at Hannah Street began approximately October 10th. The project is expected to take approximately 90 days. The town's Veterans Day ceremony on November 11th will begin at 10 a.m. at the Blue Star Memorial in front of Town Hall. Candidate qualifying for the 2 Town Commission seats for a 3-year term started today at noon and goes through November 18th, 2022 at noon in the Town Clerk's office. Town Hall will be closed on Friday, November 11th for Veterans Day, Thursday, November 24th, and Friday, November 25th for Thanksgiving. Please join us Friday, December 2nd from 5:30 to 7:30 for the annual Light the Lights holiday event, which will be held at the Town Hall complex. Please check the town's website for more details to come. Residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and news through Civic Ready should sign up on the town's website or call Town Hall for assistance. And there will be a celebration of life event for Dr. Jim Weege on Saturday, November 26th at 9 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. at Town Hall. The service will be held at 11 a.m. and light refreshments will be served after. The police department will also be having a seminar regarding preventing crime on Wednesday, November 9th from 5 to 7. And lastly, the 5th annual toy drive benefiting the kids of Guardian Ad Litem will be accepting toys until December 5th. Please bring your unwrapped toys to the Ocean Ridge Police Department.
All right. Did you have an announcement?
I did. I've received a couple of phone calls and I just wanted to make a public announcement. We are not doing the Santa golf cart event this year. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that and take it off the phone list.
I do not.
Madam Mayor, may I also speak in reference to the crime prevention seminar?
Please.
That was scheduled for this Wednesday. However, due to the impending storm, we have canceled that event. So we will postpone it and we will provide dates for the rescheduling of that event in the near future. We're sorry for the inconvenience.
All right, I'm also going to move my comments up because I'm going to discuss the storm and then I'm going to turn it over to the chief to add to this one. So let's talk about subtropical storm Nicole. As per the 2 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. There's a hurricane watch in effect for the east coast of Florida, as well as a storm surge watch. It's moving slowly towards the northwest at approximately 9 miles per hour, with a possible west-southwest turn to begin tomorrow evening. Possible heavy rainfall and winds could move into our area starting tomorrow through Thursday. We can possibly expect flooding, high seas, and beach erosion. Please keep abreast of the National Hurricane Center's advisories. And of course, our town will not only be preparing and monitoring, but here to help. Chief, would you like to add to that?
Yes, thank you. Just a word of caution for everyone. Our biggest concern for this storm is the fact that it's going to be approaching at the same time that we're dealing with high tide, king tides, and a storm surge of 2 to 5 feet, depending on the exact path of the storm. That's the portion that is most concerning to us due to the low-lying areas that we do have in town, as well as the issues that we see commonly with the rise in waters and the fact that not all of our, seawalls are that high in height. So we will obviously continue to monitor that. We have already begun hurricane preparations as a town. We started that first thing this morning. We will continue that through Wednesday. We are going to be video recording the entire town as we do with each storm, including the beach, for documentation of the event, as well as documentation of your homes and the condition of your homes from the exterior, meaning the road view, as we have always done in previous storms. So we just want to make you aware of that in case you see vehicles driving around with a camera attached to it over the next day or so, you'll know why. In addition, we're expected to see 4 to 6 inches of rain, which on top of the storm surge and all of those things are concerning for us. Winds are probably expected to be 40 to 80 miles per hour, depending on the exact path of the storm. Those can vary, as well as a 2 to 5 foot storm surge, which we've already talked about. We are likely to start seeing these impacts more likely than not on Wednesday evening around 6 to 8 p.m. So we would like for all residents to take whatever precautions you personally need to make sure that all of your valuables are picked up, your patio furniture and those kind of things are either bundled or anchored or brought into the home. As far as putting out trash on Tuesday morning, please continue to do that. We will still have trash pickup at this point. On Tuesday, obviously, there may be some changes to the later in the week schedule as we approach that, but at this point, we don't know anything more about that schedule at this time. We did meet with emergency management today at 3 o'clock. Both the town manager and I were present for that meeting. They will be releasing additional information on the news this evening as to any county closures that they expect to have as it relates to the storm, as well as any evacuation notices that they may intend to implement. Those were not in effect at the 3 o'clock meeting, so at this point in time, there are no mandatory evacuations in effect for our area. I would likely see that change over the next 24 hours, just because of the fact that we are a coastal community and we do have low-lying areas. Obviously, with every storm, we want to take it serious and we want you to take it serious. We're here to protect you. I will be here all night Wednesday night into Thursday morning to make sure that we don't have any major issues, and if we do, we'll be here to protect you and keep you safe. However, during this storm, we will not be bringing in our entire staff. One, because it's likely only to be a level 1 hurricane or category 1 hurricane. And 2, because if we do suffer flooding, I want to be able to have staff to come in and assist us after the fact. So we're going to handle things a little differently than we have in the past. We will be asking the commission tonight to obviously adopt a resolution to create a local state of emergency. It allows us to do things we need to do as staff. And if there's anything we can do to help you all, please let us know. If you have any questions or need further guidance, please get with me or any of our staff, and you'll start seeing the Civic Ready notifications going out in the morning.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
All right. Now we will go to agenda item number 10.
What about
Request-
public
Public
comment?
comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's first, right? Okay, let's open it up to public comment.
We can ask Avery to say something.
Yeah, Kelly, 1 second first. Kelly's going to read a paragraph from our protocol.
Each person addressing the commission shall step up to the podium and state his or her name and address in an audible tone of voice for the record. All public comments must be addressed to the commission as a body and not to individuals. Personal verbal attacks upon commissioners, staff, and/or members of the public will not be tolerated. Any person making impertinent, obscene, personally insulting, defamatory, or slanderous remarks, or who becomes disruptive while addressing the commission shall be barred by the presiding officer from speaking further, unless permission is to continue or again address the commission is granted by a majority vote of the commission members present.
Thank you. I will now open the floor for public comment on any item not listed on the agenda. Carol? Patty?
Carol Bessler, 5906 Old Ocean. On behalf of our newly created organization, the Starbright Civic Initiative, whose mission is to initiate activities to benefit our community at large, we wanted to kick off our first year with a donation to honor our hardworking police department. They have kept us safe during the past 2 very difficult years and continue to do so each and every day. The painting is a token of our gratitude and respect. The painting was gifted to our group by nationally recognized artist Patricia McGuire, who's here with me today, whose work has become synonymous with excellence and creativity. The group then decided it deserved a place of honor in our town for all to admire, so a decision was made to gift it to our police department. The name of the painting is The Weight of the Flag, and we hope it inspires all who see it to remember that we are all at our best when we work together as a team, no matter the challenges we may face. In the spirit of honoring the blue, we now present The Weight of the Flag to Chief Jones.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, nicely done.
Lovely.
Gonna leave it on display so
Hang it
everyone
there,
can see
see.
it. I don't trust
Yeah, I
it.
wouldn't trust
Yeah,
it.
Yes.
Yes, Patty, you wanna come up?
Come on, Patty.
Yeah.
Artist.
Thank you. Very nice, thank you very much.
All right, do we have any other public comment? Ms. Collins?
Stella Cole, 204 Beachway Drive. I wrote a letter to the commissioners this week, and I'd like to read it so it goes into public record. Thank you. Dear Commissioners, after reading the agenda for the Monday, November 7th meeting, I felt I needed to reach out to you and express my concerns. I do believe that many residents in our community share my concerns. As I understand it, you would like to have Ocean Ridge designated as a tree city. There was also a previously agenda item suggesting that the formation of a tree board, which would be an advisory board consisting of 5 Ocean Ridge Garden Club members. To clarify, in 2020, we paid $5,000 to count trees. In 2021 and 22, we paid $2,000 per year, and we have a 5-year contract. This year, we also budgeted $5,000 for an arborist. As I understand it, having the tree city designation requires an ongoing annual cost of $4,000. The bigger question is, does the town of Ocean Ridge want to be a tree city? We have an election coming up in March. Why not have a referendum on the ballot and let the voters decide? If they want their tax dollars being spent on this. Regardless of the formation of the tree board, what would this group be tasked with? Would it be given direction to the arborist, to the residents? This makes no sense to me. I have been pleading to this commission for years. Please use common sense in your decisions. The Ocean Ridge Garden Club is a 501c3 organization, and as such cannot be tied or given the appearance of being tied to a governmental body. I am shocked that the Garden Club has repeatedly stated that it is not political and is acting in such a blatantly political fashion. Additionally, each board that the commission empowers costs the town and therefore the taxpayers in staff, resources, and time. And would not the members of such an advisory board be subject to the Sunshine Law? Quite simply, the town should not be in bed with the Garden Club or any other club in town, just a figure of speech. In my 22 years, all I've heard in this town is that we enjoy a quality of life. The town should earmark money for public safety and infrastructure as its top priority, not telling taxpayers what to do with their trees. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comment, Phil? Terry?
Hi, Carolyn Cassidy, 7 Hudson Avenue. I'm looking forward to hearing on behalf of the concerned citizens for public safety on or near Old Ocean Boulevard from Chief Jones later. We were communicating this morning and I was inquiring about signage that was approved in the spring and looking forward to as traffic is picking up on Old Ocean, pedestrian traffic. I would also like to ask the commission, please, to go back and revisit ordinance 2020-05. It was passed in September of 2020 and effectively it had good intentions, I'm sure. One of them being unity of title for properties where Old Ocean bisects the home from the dune. However, the unintended consequences that Ken Cleel warned about in May of 2021 at this in front of this commission have come to fruition. Homeowners on the ocean are upset about this for obvious reasons. I know there's one lawsuit currently in motion and likely not the last. What this ordinance does is effectively takes away the usable land area from the homeowner between the high water mark and the 1979 coastal construction control line. And it has grave consequences for these homeowners. And I believe unintended consequences based on what the commission intended at the time. So I'm asking you to please review it. I went before the Planning and Zoning Commission at their last meeting. You voted 3-2 in May of 21 not to send it back to the Planning and Zoning for review. I brought it up with them at the last meeting. They said they weren't going to look at it unless they were directed to by the commission. But I think it sits with you. You are in charge of the ordinances. You need to take a strong look at it, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil?
Phil Bessler, 5906 Old Ocean Boulevard. Hello, commissioners, how you doing? The issue I want to talk about was on the consent that you got rid of, issue number 5 and issue number 6. I hope the next time it comes around, this really shouldn't be on a consent agenda because residents don't really to talk about it as much and vet the issue. So here's my issues, just to give you guys some food for thought. The 2 requests are from the 2 clubs to use the town facility as their clubhouse for free. The concern is club membership is restricted to a small group of people. These 2 clubs are requesting the town's 1,900 tax-paying residents of Ocean Ridge to pay for a clubhouse facility for approximately 7 members of the club. Now, although there is a membership limit on at least one of these clubs, they are lobbying the town to also have the Ocean Ridge taxpayers pay for the benefit of club members for out-of-town members. So the 1,900 Ocean Ridge taxpayers are paying for non-residents to use our facilities. Some clubs serve alcohol at these meetings. Will the town insurance cover the serving of alcohol on their premises and any and all accidents occurring on or off the premises? So although the 2 clubs are asking now, this could open a floodgate for other clubs to take advantage of free rent and a nice hangout. Now let's address the conflict of interest. The above issue has to be voted on by 5 commissioners. 2 of you are on the club and 2 of you have spouses on the club. So why are less than 5% of the population in Ocean Ridge members of these clubs, but 80% of the people voting, 4 out of 5 commissioners, have a vested interest in this club? If the clubs are allowed to use town's buildings, there should be a full costing method to come up to the rental expense. Some items to be considered: additional insurance for the open bar, wear and tear of the facility, utilities, cleanup, damages, and staff time. This also should not be limited to only the people with a connection on the board. If all residents are paying for a municipal building to be used as a clubhouse, then all residents should be allowed to use it. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry, please. I see.
I've been trying to get up here. Terry Brown, Harvard Livestock. I just wanted to say some more positive comments regarding Chief Richard Jones and the work that he does, the professional, compassionate work that he does. A good illustration is that article in the Coastal Star about how they helped out that woman in Hendry County. We are so fortunate to have a leader of the police department, and all the members of the police department and the community feel the same way. So those who have a different opinion are not paying attention. What I also wanted to say regarding trees, and I agree with Martin, that it needs to be looked at more inclusively. I know there's an independent street that I'm gonna do whatever I want on my property and no one can tell me what to do, what trees to plant. Well, if you go into our neighborhood and see that 6,000, by the way, we took a tour today, Lucy and I, inside, and it's fabulous. But if you looked at that property before, there were 11 old sable palms, some of them 100 years old. They are all stripped down to the ground, and the trees that you see now, he's almost finished. That's how we were able to get a tour. There's one, what they call a date palm and one queen palm. That's it. There are no shade trees. There's no landscape at all. It's going to be a stark looking building. And I know the planning and zoning have tried to look at landscaping. And I just think that we need an ordinance regarding shade trees. We need more trees on these properties. This helps with the environment, helps cool down the property, helps cool down your neighbors. So please, let's look at it differently than just having a committee that's tied to some national organization. We need to have it for our community. It's a real important issue that we are going to suffer in the future if we don't get more shade trees in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Sir?
Good evening. My name is Todd Pappas, 6665 North Ocean Boulevard. I moved to Ocean Ridge about 15 years ago for a couple of reasons. Most importantly, mainly, I love Ocean Ridge. About a year ago, I purchased a piece of property at 6073 Old Ocean Boulevard. My goal was to renovate, improve, and live the rest of my life in the home. Unfortunately, I'm unable to do that because of several reasons. So I'm going to make it pretty simple and just ask one thing. Please help me. That's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. I believe this is your attorney.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Scott. I'm a zoning attorney. I represent Todd Pappas. So I guess I'm sort of piggybacking off of him. As you may know, we applied for variances because we were trying to find solutions to the issues he has. And unfortunately, the variances didn't go our way, as you may know, and we're currently appealing that. We came tonight mostly to introduce my client to the town because he's really trying to find a solution here, but also sort of to piggyback on what Ms. Cassidy said, that we're really politely, respectfully begging that the town consider amending this ordinance. I prepared this exhibit, if I can pass it out. It just shows, if you want, can I take a look at that? I want to see it. So that I certainly understand as a zoning attorney living in South Florida, the importance of environmental protection and coastal resiliency. I'm sure that the intentions of the coastal construction line changes you made to the code years ago had good intentions. However, as you can see on this exhibit, if you put the title block on the right side, the entire bottom there underneath the yellow is what it effectively has been taken away from all those property owners. I think part of the challenge here is the coastal construction line is promulgated by the state. It's a big legal description that no one knows where the line falls. And so we had our surveyor prepare this line showing you that everything on the bottom underneath the yellow line is effectively what has been taken away from all these different property owners in the town. So it really clearly depicts what a challenge this is for anyone to redevelop their home, improve their home. And so it's sort of larger than the issues facing my client. And so while we are appealing the variance and we understand that that's a challenge for the town, that's relative to the variances. The issue with the coastal construction line changes affects lots of property owners in your town. And so we're here tonight just asking you, please, to consider a joint workshop with the zoning board we'd be happy to help. I even offered, when I spoke to your town attorney, to prepare the text amendment myself. And so we're just asking for some attention given to this because it's going to be a big issue for a lot of different property owners. And there's a really easy way to modify this part of the code to protect the environment, to ensure the coastal construction line is respected, but not take away so much of these various property owners' rights. And so we thank you for considering that.
Thank you, sir.
Can I
Any
just-
other, oh, no. I'm just going to say that this is not a question and answer period. We're trying to move forward and get some business done. So you can speak with this gentleman after on your own. Any other public comment? Are we good? All right, then. General public comment period is now closed. I'm sorry. All right, so next we go on to approval of consent agenda. All right, say 1 through 9, but we cut a couple out of there, correct? So Town Clerk Avery, would you please read the consent agenda as it stands into record?
Adoption of minutes of August 1st, 2022, regular town commission meeting. Adoption of minutes of August 1st, 2022, special town commission meeting. Adoption of minutes of August 8th, 2022, special town commission meeting. Resolution 2022-17, municipal elections agreement. Approved budget expenditure of up to $17,000 to DL Folsom Air Conditioning and Heating Corp. for the replacement of 2 AC units at the town hall facility. Approved budget expenditure of up to $191,537, including $75,000 in carryover from fiscal year 2022 for vehicle purchases, leases. Authorized garbage and alarm liens for fiscal year 22, and the addition of the resolution 2022-20 of the declaration of state of emergency.
I think we got it. I will entertain a motion on approving the consent agenda as amended.
If I can.
You have
just
some
make a
input there?
quick- Very quick, for the public. Item number 8.
I'm sorry? Oh, microphone.
Item number 8, just so you understand, it's $191,000 expenditure that we're approving here on the consent agenda. That sounds like a lot of money and something that definitely should be discussed normally. However, for everybody's understanding, these are budgeted items that were in the budget and carry over budgets from last year because the vehicles were not available at that time. And that's why this is on the consent agenda and is not a regular discussed item as an information piece. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I will entertain a motion on approving the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, but you gotta include the emergency resolution.
As amended. Hence, as amended. All right, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, now we can go to agenda item number 10, correct? So what do we have? Interim town manager, Ms. Ladner, would you please update us on this item?
Yes, this is a request. Sorry about that. Request for a building permit renewal refund request for 6849 North Ocean Boulevard. This is the Ocean Club of Florida. They have requested a refund in the amount of $13,002.50 on permit 21684. And speaking with the building official, Mr. Guy, he has recommended to approve this request for the building permit renewal refund. This was a renewal request that was approved by the commission before, and it had to be approved back in June so that they could get their certificate of occupancy that they are asking for the refund at this time.
All right, then. I will open the floor for public comment. All right, the floor is now closed. I will open the floor for commissioner discussion. Martin, we'll start with you since Jeff's recused.
No discussion.
Steve?
No objection.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think everyone should realize that they ran into the McCormick Miles seawall that no one was aware of. It was built in, 1930? And it was underneath the ground that they were trying to extend their pool into. So that slowed them down quite a bit. There's a 10-foot wide, 12-foot base seawall. It was a proper seawall.
Christine?
No comment.
All right, I'm usually not in favor of refunds, but we discussed this with the building official and he has no problem with this, so I will follow up on everybody else. We're not talking to you, right? You're out. Okay, then. Nothing else to say, so I'll entertain a motion on the refund of the permit renewal fee.
Move to approve the request for building permit renewal refund for 6849 North Ocean Boulevard in the amount of $13,002.50.
Second. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries, I'd say unanimously with our recusal. All right, agenda item number 11, request from 24 Luther Drive for building permit extension. Interim Manager Ladner, would you please update us on this?
Yes, the contractor for 24 Luther Drive has requested a building permit time extension in accordance with the town code. The permit was originally issued on August 24th of 2020. They had a one-time renewal with an expiration date of March 15 of 2022. The building official has recommended the approval of this extension and waiver of any fees.
All right, then I'll open the floor for public comment. Hearing none, public comments now closed. I'll open the floor for commissioner discussion. Jeff, would you like to lead us off?
Well, if I couldn't recuse myself from the first one, I would have recommended we put these all on the consent agenda and have been over with. Because you've already changed, or about to change the code to do a 2-year permit. So it's kind of moot here that most of this stuff happened during COVID. So the supply chain and everything else was interrupted, created this first time ever seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these on the agenda. So this is basically house cleaning and making sure we get all these permits closed out and everything done in the town, all this billing done. So having said that, obviously I'm for that one and all the rest of them, just to fill it out.
So I won't ask you again.
Do we need to
Christine?
vote on each?
Yes, they're individually. Christine?
I concur with Commissioner Pugh, but let's just get it done.
All right. Mr. Cos?
Fine.
I move to
Martin?
approve the request for building permit extension 24 Luther Drive for a period of 12 months to expire March 15, 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, here we go again. Number 12, request from 6110 North Ocean Boulevard for building permit extension. Interim Manager Ladner, would you like to update us on this item?
Very similar to the permit request before, this one was originally issued on October 14th of 2021, expired July 14th of 2021 after a 3-month extension by the department. They have asked for a 6-month extension to expire on January 14th of 2023. Building official guy has recommended the approval and the waiver of fees.
All right, I'll open the floor for public comment. Hearing none, floor is closed. Any commissioner discussion? Jeffrey's already said where he sits.
I'd like to go ahead and just make the motion.
All right, I think, right, well, let me just check looking here, everybody.
The only thing is, that might be a technicality, the permit was issued October 14th, 2021 and expired July 14th, 2021. That can't be. Would have been July 2022, I would assume, correct?
I believe that's a typo from the building official.
Yeah, 2021, 21. All right, good catch.
Go for it.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Somebody like to make a motion?
I did.
Somebody want a second?
Second.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, request from 6885 North Ocean Boulevard for building permit extension.
Okay, again, this one was originally issued on August 18th of 2020. They had a one-time renewal with a new expiration date of March 2022. They are asking for an extension for a 12-month period to expire on March 20th of 2023. Again, the building official has recommended the extension and waiver of fees.
All right, I'll open the floor for public comment. Hearing none, I'll close the floor. Any commissioner discussion?
Move to approve the request for building permit extension 6885 North Ocean Boulevard for a period of 12 months to expire March 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, where are we here? 14, request from 29 Eleuthera Drive for building permit extension. Interim Manager Ladner, would you like to update us?
This is the last one for this evening. Original permit issued on October 12th, 2021, expired on October 12th, 2022. Requesting an extension for 6 months to expire on April 12th, 2023. Building official has recommended the extension and the waiver of renewal fees.
All right, I'll open the floor for public comment. Hearing none, I'll close the floor. Anything new to add, Commission?
I move to approve the request for building permit extension 29 Eleuthera Drive for a period of 6 months to expire April 12th, 2023.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, everybody in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, then. Agenda item number 15, authorize Ocean Ridge Department of Public Safety to enter into law enforcement agreement accreditation. Chief Jones, would you please update us on this item?
So the Florida Department of Law Enforcement offers a program that allows each law enforcement agency within the state to become accredited. Accreditation requires that you prove that you're operating in best practice methods and that you're operating in compliance with agency policies and state statutes. We have been initiating the processes to start this since August of last year. We really started going pretty heavily in January. We're to the point now that we have requested that we go ahead and put the agreement before the commission for approval to do it as a holistic approach. There are no downsides to doing accreditation. It really is about the professionalization of the organization and about ensuring that we are operating in a consistent and best practice method. So I would request approval from the commission and ask to proceed with the accreditation process.
Thank you very much. I will now open the floor for public comment. Hearing none, I will close the floor. Comment from the commission?
Chief, were we ever accredited before?
No, sir, we've never been accredited.
Christine? Excuse me. No. Not from the, I'm sorry. I opened for public comment. Did you not hear me?
Yeah,
But have nobody moved. Okay, so does anybody have a problem reopening for public comment?
No.
All right. Public comment, let's reopen it for you, madam. Would you like to come up and say something, please? Pardon me?
You can reopen comment.
Yeah, we did. Please. Yes, please give us your, that's fine. Please give us your name and address so it can go into
Marion
record.
Galiner, 34 Harbor Drive North, Ocean Ridge.
Thank you.
Would the accreditation that you get and give us any benefits from the state?
So it doesn't offer benefits in the sense of outline benefits. What it offers is the ability to apply for grant funding, knowing that we are meeting all of the national and state required accreditation practices. And it also gives us the ability to, in the event we are ever involved in a legal issue or a lawsuit, it does give us the status of being accredited and proving that we are doing things within the best practice model that every other law enforcement agency that is accredited is operating within as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Sally?
Sally Howell, 27 Harbor Drive South. Good evening.
Good evening.
Are there any costs associated with accreditation?
There are costs associated with accreditation. However, those costs we have factored into our budget, and we did not increase the budget in those areas. We're just using funds from our training account and some other areas of our budget to ensure focus is spent on getting the process accomplished without it costing the town any more money.
And what are those costs?
The costs vary depending on how many staff you have involved in the process. The accreditation fees are dependent upon your agency size and the number of months that you start the accreditation process. So they can vary, but we're estimating that those costs will be under $5,000 annually.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? All good. Public comment now closed again. Where were we? Christine, did you have a comment to make on this?
I just want to tell Chief, thank you. I know it has been a lot of work. You've had to go over your policies and procedures. You've had to do a lot of updating. And the one thing that I wanted to read from the accreditation is the agency is compelled to operate within specific guidelines. It is accountable to the commission. So this is nothing that the police department is going rogue on at all. Actually, it makes our police department a lot stronger and recognized by the state. And it says the agency must stay in compliance with the standards set forth by the commission in order to retain its accreditation. And the morale of the agency is enhanced by increasing employees' confidence in the effectiveness and the efficiency of their own agency. So I commend you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Martin, do you have anything to add?
I think that said it all.
Steve?
Yeah, just to carry on that point, it also states, increases cooperation and coordination with other law enforcement agencies and other branches of the criminal justice system, which is kind of your question. Yes, there is a benefit to it. And secondly, the cost. My understanding from talking to the chief is the cost is actually zero, because we would spend this money anyway, training the officers in these methods. We're just now using those expenses to get the accreditation. Is that correct?
So, yes, so the cost that we're using, the funds that we're using are funds out of our training account, which is what we've spoken about. So we're now doing a lot of that training in-house. We've built a team of people that are capable of doing that in-house. And we're even training with agencies like Manalapan and Gulfstream, and we're hosting it and teaching it here. So we're building that collaboration and we're building that partnership for future benefit by all three agencies. And all of those funds that we're saving by doing that in-house training is now being used on the accreditation process.
Thank you very much. I'm so pleased for this. I know it was making noise. Thank you very much. I was so pleased for this. So, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second? All right, everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right then, so 16 removed from the agenda. We had comment on that. All right. 17, agenda item 17, selection of executive recruitment firm for town manager finance director search. Attorney Goodell, would you update us on this?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As you know, back on October 10th, we posted an RFQ at the direction of the commission seeking a professional search firm to assist the town in searching for its permanent town manager / finance director. The responses were due to the request for qualifications October 28th. We did receive 3 responses. The responses came from GOV HR USA, Colin Basinger and Associates, and Strategic Government Resources. You've been provided those responses to the RFQ, and they are also in the backup for today's agenda. The RFQ listed the following criteria as equally weighted selection criteria. You're to look at the successful experience of the firm with similar searches, the proposed primary point of contact and that point of contact experience in similar searches, the firm's experience with public records and sunshine law, and the total cost provided in each response. At the request of the Vice Mayor, I have begun drafting up a professional services agreement, and I do apologize to the Vice Mayor, I did not get to finish the scope of work, and perhaps we could spend a little bit more time talking about that once the selection has been made. And I would also ask for the selection to include direction to myself and the interim town manager to execute a professional services agreement with the selected firm.
Okay, thank you very much. I will now open the floor for public comment. Hearing none, I will close the floor. Commission discussion. Jeffrey, would you like to start us off?
No, give me a minute. I'll be first.
Okay. He doesn't want to be first. I know you've got your homework done. Christine, what would you like to do?
It was a lot of reading, so maybe that's
Really?
catching up on.
Yeah.
To me, there is one firm that outstanding based on its Florida experience. They have coastal qualifications. They've worked with small towns, big towns. And they also talked a lot about proactive recruiting. And I think that was probably our downfall in our last search. We waited for applicants to come to us. We didn't actually have anybody who could pick up the phone and say, you may be gainfully employed, you may be happily employed, and you may be, unhappily employed, but I want to let you know about this. Usually if you are employed and you're happily employed, you're not out searching the want ads. And I think that that's probably a really important feature that we look at when we look at a recruitment company, especially spending this type of money. I anticipate that they'll have a Rolodex, it'll be in Florida, and that they will do active recruiting. So I have a lot of other thoughts about that, but I just wanted to put that out as part of the qualifiers, because anybody can do a search, but unless you're going out proactively, and if you haven't ever worked with smaller towns or coastal towns, I think that those are just key qualifiers that we need. In regards to the Florida Sunshine and public records request and vet preference, I think we've all gotten a healthy dose of education over the last couple of weeks on that. And, we can always have kind of Christie as a counsel on that. I would also like to think that whatever firm we select, that they would come and meet with the commissioners and the chief ahead of time and really vet and make sure that they have got a very clear idea of what we are looking for. It's a lot of money. I'm not sure that there is any way around that. There was one company though that had a flat fee and that they itemized just about everything, including the phone call and Kleenex for their travel. So I'm not sure that that's really where we want to be going. But all of them did do very nice marketing materials. And I think that is something that at least is a takeaway for us as a town, to be able to have that and use that in the future. And I think one of the biggest things we need to talk about, although all of them had pretty much the same timeline as a commission, we need to discuss what our goal for hire is and make sure that whoever we select can fulfill that, because if not, we're treading water. So that's it. Good. More to come.
Steve?
I'm waiting for Jim. No.
Well, we were giving Jeff some extra time.
So the one firm, I think I agree with you. I don't know if you used the name of this firm, Colin Denziger. And I was trying to find a stat that was just stunning. It was like of the 161 job openings for town manager or town clerk in Florida, mostly South Florida, their company filled 127 of those jobs. And that was over the past like 2 to 4 years or something. Super professional. They do specialize in Florida. The other companies are located, I think one's in the Midwest and one's further north from us in the state. They have a rep down here. The other two companies, these guys actually are located in Daytona. They seem very competent. And they, as I pointed out with that statistic, they've done it numerous times successfully before. So that's the firm I prefer.
All right, Martin?
So I reached out to one of the towns that Colin Benzinger and Associates had worked with, since I knew the former mayor and 2 of the council members there. Unfortunately, I hadn't been able to get any response from them, but I was able to speak with a former commissioner over there who had sat in the meetings when that company presented to that commission, and he was very supportive of that particular firm. and their professionalism that they had brought forward. So he said, hire them, they're good.
Oh, good to know. Jeff, you ready to weigh in?
Yeah, I just want to hear what everybody else had to say because I was looking at the Collin passenger folks as well. And if you look at the completed searches prior to 2022, 50% were in Florida. And right now, there are 2 out of the 3 current searches are in Florida, and one of them is Juno Beach. So looks like they're very well versed in Florida towns and the state of Florida. So I think that's the way we should go, is a company that is based in Florida. Most of their work comes around from Florida towns, and a lot of their towns that they actually look at are very small towns like ours.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say we should go with that company.
I think we're basically all on the same page. I like the Florida. I reached out to League of Cities to ask them about who liked what, and he came very highly recommended. So you spoke with somebody that actually sat in with them. Everybody seems to like, which I think is a plus doing the Florida, because you don't have the catch up. You also, if you're somewhere around this area, everybody knows everybody. They all know each other. So it's a good thing. You don't have to start from scratch on making your connections, which are very useful for us to have connections with all our neighboring towns and municipalities. So I seem to be on the same path here. So let's see, what would we do here? I guess we would entertain a motion, since we all seem to be on pretty much the same page, on the selection of the executive recruitment firm for town manager / finance director search. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I make a motion to hire Colin Benzinger.
How do we say his name? Benzinger?
I think it's Benzinger.
CBA.
There you go. We won't mess up there.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Whoops. Motion carries. All right, so then the direction would go to Christie now.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
What would you like to
The
hear?
direction is, with the town manager and myself, we will prepare a standard Town of Ocean Ridge professional services agreement to enter into a CBA. The only real issue is the scope of services.
Right.
And I've had some discussions with each of you individually about a scope of services. And thinking about it, one thought may be is to just sort of leave it general, because I envision the first thing that's gonna need to happen is we're gonna need to have a public meeting with the appointed point of contact to really discuss, sort of like we did previously, the process and lay it out so that there's an expectation and understanding of how the process will move forward. And perhaps that's really what's going to shape up the scope of services based on the timeline that the commission desires, the extent of any kind of searches, the time frame for how long the job is posted, which are really discussions, obviously, that you may want to have one-on-one with the point of contact and then have publicly to come to a consensus on.
I agree. Everybody sound good on that?
Yep.
So if I can just get by consensus direction for myself and the interim town manager to execute the contract with just a broad scope of services with more to follow up individually with each of you and then in a public meeting.
All right, do we have a consensus here? Do you have something, Ed?
I just wanted to ask, and it may be premature, but I want everybody to be thinking about what is going to be our single point of contact here at the town side. You know, once the contract is executed, I think that was also something that we learned from in our past. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, I thought we agreed on that at the last meeting. It was going to be a single point of contact. We weren't, each one of us going to call.
Correct.
And
Right, that's what you said.
No. What I'm asking is who is going to oversee this process from the town
I
level?
would
Kelly just.
probably. the town
I was looking at her too.
Yeah.
You-
Do you have a suggestion on this?
We've worked with Collins Firm before.
All
and
right.
I'm happy to work directly with them so that if there's a question from staff or from you, you can bring it to me. Ideally, you have open conversations with Colin on a one-on-one
Right.
basis. about issues that you may, questions you may have, but in terms of making sure that we need to internally post something or follow up with an applicant or something like that, I'll work with town and Colin to make sure that those things happen.
I'm happy with that. Are you good with that? Jeff?
We've
Everybody
hired,
happy?
we've hired a professional firm for this very
Yes.
reason, so we don't need to worry about these
Right.
things.
It's just the details that everybody wants to make sure we're all clear on. I think that sounds good. So you have consensus on that as well. All right, we're all agreed. Go forward with CBA. All right. Agenda item number 18, discussion of joint commission planning and zoning workshop. Interim manager, Ms. Ladner, would you please update us on this?
Madam Mayor, it was brought to me that perhaps the joint meeting of the two boards would best be delayed until after the first year to allow ample time for a survey of the two boards for potential topics to be discussed, as well as research time for those topics by the staff. This delay would allow a greater ease in scheduling, as it would not require juggling dates around the November and December holidays and members' potential travel schedules. I would like to ask the commission to postpone the joint meeting until January. And I would also like to hear from the commissioners on any topics that you would like to have on the agenda for that meeting, so that staff may begin researching and collecting the information and have ample time that it can be provided to review the information prior to that meeting. I provided you with an updated memo. I believe Kelly has that. It has a listing of the topics I have from previous meetings, as well as topics that have been brought to me either through meetings we've had since I came or from other staff members. Those topics are in bold for our discussion this evening. Topics from previous joint meetings include updating the landscaping ordinance, trees protecting our canopy, the site triangle ordinance, right-of-way encroachments, property maintenance, light and abandonment, light nuisance, district regulations beginning in the code section 64-1, the code enforcement tiered system, and then the new items, the floor area ratio FAR, a potential overlay for Old Ocean between Anna Street and Corinne Street, and raising the seawalls. Of the old items, are there any items that are the highest priority for the commission that you would like us to focus on collecting for the joint meeting?
Could we get you a list?
Yeah,
Rather than
I was
just-
going to say the same thing is because we have time now, you can all marinate a little
Well,
bit.
if
and
the
speak
commission
to-
is interested in us, and definitely putting it off till January.
Right, so let's open for public comment, see if we have any input on this.
It's a small comment, Stella Cole, 204 Beachway. We've been talking about doing this workshop for a while, and I just want to know that it's going to get done in January. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Cassidy?
Carolyn Cassidy, 7 Hudson. Can we please add ordinance 2020-05 to that list?
That's the one, the overlay.
No,
No, it
that's
isn't.
the coastal
It's the coastal construction
Post
control line.
construction line.
Yep. And it's not easy to find, by the way. Christy very kindly helped me find the ordinance and sent it to me. But if you're reading the setback language in the code, which is section 64, says nothing about ordinance 2020-05. You have to actually know to go to section 67, which talks about the CCCL line, to see that change in language. So,
But they
Perhaps
intersect.
But that would, they
Sorry?
intersect.
They intersect.
Yeah.
The two codes, without, I guess, unintentionally, whatever you want to say, they do overlap. Let's put it
but
that way.
there's no, when you're reading setback language, there's no reference to
Right, I agree.
see coastal
I
construction.
agree.
And there's
But we have to
you
know both
can't
of those, because we
search the
can't
code.
change one without
All
reviewing.
right, let's not
You
have
can't search
that
the code
conversation,
for the ordinance.
Why not?
because we're going
That's the
to,
point of this.
because you're going to reach out and ask people what they want to talk about, and then you can bring it to us. Terry?
I want to know what your rules are going to be for public participation in this workshop. I know that some workshops you don't allow citizen participation. I don't know what your rule will be. I think that you ought to allow it because I have some ideas. And I'm sure a lot of other people have ideas of what we could be looking at. So are you going to be able to make that decision?
We'll discuss.
You're gonna what?
We'll discuss.
Okay.
All right, do we have any other public comment here?
Hi.
Hi,
Courtney Kent, 16 Midley Road.
I'm sorry, did you get that?
No.
So what was the reason for extending it until January?
Time.
Wasn't it?
Time issues.
Reviewing. or
Issues
doing research?
with scheduling and making sure we have ample time to do the research on the topic.
Because I also noticed that you made another thing about if you don't get something in before the end of this year, you're gonna have an impact fee or something for permits. I briefly read it, maybe I read it wrong,
okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Maybe that was wrong.
It was,
I
it's
just
a,
wanted to make sure, like.
it's a scheduling
If
issue.
you're gonna do it in January, and then like maybe we should try to get it done sooner.
It's a scheduling issue. We have a lot going on, and besides not even considering the holidays.
Yeah.
We've been putting it off
new
because
to the
many
town
things.
hall thing,
Okay.
so, sorry.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else?
Just
Mr.
a
Martell?
suggestion, Victor Martell, 46 Harbor Drive South. I mean, we're in January.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 60 days from March, which is another election. And ultimately, it'd be nice to have the people that are going to be on the commission for another few years to be a part of that, or we're going to have possibly nothing change, or possibly 2 commissioners change within 60 days. And now they're making decisions for the town that they may or may not be commissioners anymore.
It's a
workshop.
It's not any
It's a
decision.
workshop to help make decisions.
It's
not a
it would
single
be a
decision
workshop
anymore.
set priorities.
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
All right, any other public comment? Okay, public comment is now closed. Let's discuss first if we're all in favor of moving it to January. And then the other item that we discussed is the fact that we can amongst ourselves have time to speak to the residents and come up with our own list of possibilities. So Jeff, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely move it to January, but
All right.
I think you should have a deadline to when you deliver your suggestions to the staff, so you're not, at the meetings the second week of January, you don't give it to them 3 days prior, so.
Right.
There should be by the end of the year, you should have whatever you want to see on this workshop to the town staff so they can research what they have to research.
All right, good point. Christine?
I would go one step further and say that we should have it by the beginning of December at the latest. It's going to take 2 weeks worth of work for us to give suggestions. I don't think waiting another 2 months to give suggestions gives staff enough time in case they do need to do any research.
Are you saying
It doesn't matter when you do the time limit. My suggestion is just to do a time limit to give it to them
with enough time before the actual
before the
workshop?
meeting. That's all.
Same thing. That's pretty obvious. What do you think, Martin?
I don't, told Lynn that I don't see a reason why we need to postpone this further and further and further. It's a workshop that I'm very much in favor of holding every 6 months. To make it clear, it's a workshop. It's a workshop where we, the commissioners, can sit with the planning and zoning board and discuss items that concern us, and they can discuss items that concern them. They're basically, in a sense to us, an advisory board. We bounce ideas back to them on things that we would potentially like to have changed. They bounce ideas to us. It's for us to sit there and discuss with them in an open forum where the public can attend items that concern this town, things that possibly need to be changed, that shouldn't be changed, whatever it is. We should have done it in October. We probably should have done it a long time before that, but I don't want to postpone this until January. Get it done. Let's just set the date. We had November on it. At first it was October, now then it was November, and now we're talking January, and then we're going to be talking, and now we're talking already elections. So let's just get it done.
Steve?
It's a discussion.
I like Christine's idea. I think we ought to set the deadline now instead of wasting more time. December 1st is 2 Thursdays, one Thursday after Thanksgiving, which I think is okay.
For setting our topics.
Yeah, for the deadline for the ideas.
Right, setting our topics, and therefore Also, when scheduling, Martin wants to not have.
Yeah, I'm sticking
You're
with
still with
January.
January, okay. I'm.
But I think
Go ahead.
in order to move forward on this, we ought to decide something tonight, such as Christine's idea for a deadline, because that gives us movement.
Right, I absolutely
Right.
agree, good concept. I'm all for, and I think Mark Marsh is as well, moving it. We have a lot going on here, and I know it should have been, but between the town manager search, special meetings, now we have holidays, et cetera. It's something we really want to put our efforts and times into, but I like the idea of having our topics in by the beginning of December so that staff has plenty of time to work on that. And then we have to come up with a date, January.
Could I bring up one other item?
Please.
Terry said something about public comment. I believe strongly there should be public comment. And we should really figure out, is it going to be at the beginning of the meeting or is it going to be at the end of the meeting? And I would propose it should be at the beginning. Because if somebody say, if you're going to make a discussion, or have it both at the beginning and have it both at the end. So that way the public is fully enmeshed into the discussion.
Well, procedure-wise, we don't have to make those decisions this evening. I think we can make our dates, and then we'll work on the procedure. We have some time for that. We can discuss all those details. So let's talk about dates.
When are we discussing?
Dates, we could do it at December, the December meeting. Right? So let's talk about our dates. December 1st for topics and suggestions doable for everybody?
And that would include the planning and zoning board also.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It goes out to everybody.
Are you meeting before that? Well, it's individuals.
Yeah, it's individual, so they don't have to have a meeting. They're going to be talking to themselves.
And they're meeting before too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're meeting on the-
So is everybody good with the 1st for a deadline for topics?
Yep.
All right. And then shall we set the date for the workshop itself while we're here?
December 6th.
No. You're out of that. Okay, who's got this one? Let's look at our calendars.
So the second, if we have our commission meeting, it would be on the 2nd. We usually delay it because it's
Right,
obviously
New Year's.
You talking December?
No,
January.
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 We're all in
January.
January, except for Martin. So our commission meeting will most likely be the 9th because we usually don't have it the day after, right? So if our commission meeting is the 9th, we could go for possibly the week after.
That's Martin Luther King holiday.
Well, it doesn't have to be Monday, right?
No.
It can be any day.
No, we usually do it on a different day.
Yeah, I thought we did as well. So we could look at how does the 18th look? It's a Wednesday? How's your calendar look there, buddy?
Why don't we just do it the Wednesday after the commission meeting?
That's exactly what my suggestion is.
There we go.
All right?
You're talking the 11th or the 18th?
Well, the commission meeting is going to be the 9th.
So it'd be 11th.
So you mean directly after? We can do
Directly
that.
after, let's
Okay.
get it over.
How is that? So how does that sound? Would that work for you?
Hang on.
December 11th would be better, but.
No, it won't.
Fine.
Steve,
Yeah.
your calendar look good?
Yep.
The 11th? Good. All right. So we'll give direction to Kelly to schedule the 11th and to hound us to make sure our information is in for both boards by the 1st.
And the public can send, if they have specific things that they would like us to discuss, they can send them to us.
Right.
And then we can put them on our agenda into our packages.
Okay.
Before December 1st.
Before
Right.
December 1st.
Well, except somebody needs to, I think it's Lynn, the commission meeting, the P and Z meeting isn't until after the middle of November. So they should be alerted to this deadline ASAP.
Oh, email. Yeah, email. And we got, right. And we have Rick right here.
Now.
That's not a big deal.
First of December is the
Ideas.
so whatever you want to have in there.
Right, we'll email and ask everybody on that board to do the same like we're going to do. Speak to your residents, get your consensus together, and then we'll take it from there. So are we good? Everybody good on the date? Got it. Got it, got it, got it. Do we need to do any kind of, Christie, do we need a motion or consensus good enough?
Consensus is fine for one.
All right, so we're all on board. Sounds good. All right then, our next is, I saw Rick getting up to move, Planning and Zoning Report, Agenda Item 19. Vice Chair Carey, would you please update us?
Thank you, Commission, for the support that you give us on our planning and zoning. The report you have in front of you from the last meeting is pretty self-explanatory, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I would like to make one comment about the topic of workshops. And these workshops are very important because I look at it as a supervisor relationship. And if we're in the employ of the commission as the planning and zoning, then we need regular meetings with our employer, with our supervisors, so that we're taking direction and going the direction that you wish of us. So it's unfortunate that we didn't have our regular October meeting. And I would encourage that we put on the calendar for the upcoming year this meeting and the next meeting, so that these things get set ahead and we all know the plan.
Thank you. All
Any-
right.
Any questions on the other actions we've been doing?
No.
Thank you.
Everybody good with the P and Z report?
I actually have a comment, if I may, on 60 Ocean Avenue. I know you guys were struggling in the September meeting with that building and the way that the building was designed, gave a lot of input towards the architect, towards the owners. And apparently what came back was very, very different from what was originally planned. And I just want to make this clear that this is what you guys are there for, and I thank you for it. because this
That's
is a
an
key
example of
problem.
it working right. And we had an applicant that went from our meeting to the lobby, worked through things with their client, and were able to turn it around in time for staff to get us on the next agenda, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we're so hesitant to do deferrals, because it can push people off 2 cycles. And that's a long time. 30 days, that's a reasonable request. So if the applicant works well, they can get it back, and that proved it, and turn around. And they made significant changes to this house. This will be the first house we see on the north side as we enter our town. And although there is currently some landscaping and things that would block that view, this is important that we had the right view of that house coming in. And it had flat facades on the west side and the east side. And we're just, they had spent all their time just on what you see from the street. And they came back and were very cooperative, and we really appreciate that. And most of the applicants are. It's a process that seems to be working.
I think so
Thanks for
too.
your comment.
Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, before we continue, I'd like to
Yes.
just circle back to our discussion with CBA. And can we spent an inordinate amount of time talking about, do we need our questions in by December 1st? What is the date? I want to make sure that we don't get caught in the holiday quagmire with CBA, and that they understand the urgency of this moving forward. Is it possible that we could set a date by which we're going to ask CBA to come in and meet with us and see the town and everything else like that?
Can you reach out to them, Christy, and see what, with that concern in mind?
Certainly, yeah, I mean, that's the first conversation with them, because
Right.
obviously time is of the
Timeline.
essence, and we want to get this going ASAP, so I will talk with you, and I'll keep you each appraised of what's going on. If not by an email to all of you, I'll call you each individually, like what's going on.
Okay, I would like to see it probably no later than within the next 2 weeks, so.
Okay.
Before
A
Thanksgiving.
call
Before
with them or
Thanksgiving.
a special meeting?
Yeah. A meeting.
A meeting, okay.
Let's move it forward.
Okay, then, agenda item number 20, interim town manager Ladner, would you please present the town manager's report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we entered October, I took time to continue my tour of the town of Ocean Ridge, visit the parks, walk the streets and the public beach areas, and be truly thankful that our community was spared the devastation that so many communities, friends, and families experienced from Hurricane Ian on the west coast and here in Palm Beach County. In early October, I attended the FLC Policy Committee meeting on finance, taxation, and personnel. And as discussed in September, one of the priority issues for the committee in the upcoming legislative session will be protecting municipal ad valorem Tax Authority. Early in the month, Jean and I met with Ron Bennett for an introductory meeting to begin the process for the FY22 financial audit. I do not expect any surprises as Tracy left the town in good shape and things should progress smoothly over the next 2 months as we complete the process and the audit is finalized and presented to the commission early in the next year. Along with 3 members of the commission, I attended the Palm Beach County League of Cities annual 4-hour ethics training, which covers the state and county mandated ethics training in Lake Worth Beach. Later in the month, I attended the monthly luncheon to hear Tara Taggart speak on the state requirements for cybersecurity protocols that every community must implement. Ocean Ridge has until January of 2025 to implement the protocols, and there are some grant opportunities available to assist with the requirements. But based on what I heard and know about what is already being implemented in Ocean Ridge, we are well on our way to meeting the requirements by the deadline. Over the past couple of months that I've been here, there seem to have been a large number of complaints about our solid waste hauler. As a result, I have reviewed our contract and asked staff to ensure that when we receive a complaint, that we not only call to have the complaint resolved, but that we make sure we enter it into the tracking system. The contract has a section regarding complaint resolution and the possible options the town has if complaints become excessive, but that can only be triggered if we have the necessary hard data. Mayor Holbert and I met with Ryan Reske from RMPK Funding to get an update on where they are with assisting the city in our search for grant funding for our current and long-term capital projects. At this time, they are in a holding pattern for their assistance to us with our ARPA funding project and gave good insights on where should the town be interested in pursuing funding opportunities in 2023 for drinking water, stormwater, or septic to sewer infrastructure projects. The strongest emphasis was that the funding rounds will be announced most likely in June. That's their normal announcement period. And that if the town wants to be prepared, now is the time for the commission to identify the priority projects and direct staff, consultants, and advisory committees to move forward and begin bringing the information to the commission and community for discussion, review, and approval, so that when the funding rounds are announced, the town has the information ready to submit without delay. That would be if we're going to do more than the ARPA on the drinking water, and if we're seriously considering moving forward with anything on the septic to sewer. I will be reaching out to the septic to sewer committee members to see if they're still interested in serving and getting back to the commission on that. One of the things that I have enjoyed the most in the month of October has been my opportunity to meet the residents of Ocean Ridge, whether it has been a phone or in-person conversation while in town hall, or an opportunity to meet a resident while I was walking down Old Ocean, through a neighborhood, or down a side street. I will be taking more of these impromptu walks in town, and I hope to continue meeting and talking to the residents. I like to hear the things that they feel are going well in the community and areas that there could be improvement. As November progresses and the calendar quickly closes the book on 2022, the community will be celebrating many holidays. The first of which is Veterans Day on November 11th. We will be holding the annual ceremony to honor veterans in front of Town Hall at the Blue Star Memorial beginning at 10 a.m. The next will be Thanksgiving on November 24th, and the town hall will be closed the following day, the 25th, as well. On Friday, December 2nd, we will be holding the annual Light the Lights event. And as we fast forward to the end of the year, the last 2 weeks of the year are full of many different holidays, including Hanukkah, which it will be observed on the 18th through the 26th, Christmas on Sunday the 25th, Kwanzaa on the 26th, and New Year's Eve on the 31st. Town hall will be closed for a Christmas holiday on Monday the 26th. I would respectfully ask that the commission at this meeting decide if they're going to move the January meeting from the 2nd of January to the 9th, so that staff can put that out and we can let the residents know. And that way also commission can go ahead, if they are doing any traveling over the holidays, you can make your plans now, as well as staff as well between the holidays, between Christmas and New Year's.
We did it. Well, she
You
needs
haven't
actual
officially-
consensus. Yeah, we discussed
You haven't
it.
officially made that designation.
Correct.
That the January meeting is not going to be on the 2nd.
Christie, what would we need, consensus or a motion?
I would do it by motion since it's a regular.
Okay, so if I cut you off, just so we don't go past this, would anybody like to make a motion that the,
So moved.
there you go.
Second.
Everybody in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries, unanimous. There you go.
And that's all I have this evening.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
I have a question for the town manager. The Dr. Weedy Memorial
Yes.
is, you didn't mention that in your report. Is that scheduled for?
That has been
Is that-
scheduled. That was not scheduled when I submitted my report. They have since submitted their facilities use report application. It has been signed off on and sent back to them. I do believe they were asking for some police services, so they were sent that application to fill it out and turn that back into the police department. They were asking for parking control and police services. So that requires a separate application from the general
We
facility.
have not received that application yet. However, there is discussion that we'll be meeting with the representatives to coordinate that this week. One way or another, the service will be provided. And obviously, we'll be here to assist them. They are also looking at hiring a valet service to take care of getting as many vehicles parked on the lot and within our property bounds as possible, due to the fact that it's going to be on a weekend following a holiday, and it will likely not have a lot of overflow parking across the street.
All
So
right,
if anyone plans on attending, I would encourage you to try to carpool or walk if you live close enough to do that, just so we can prevent, having parking issues.
make it easier.
Thank you.
Is the owner of the land directly to the north of us? He hasn't started yet.
He hasn't started construction. I understand he has been contacted and asked whether or not he would allow, but I don't believe an answer has been given yet.
He has. I spoke to Mr. Jankowski and he said he'd be happy to.
So that's
There you
great.
go, yeah.
Perfect.
Attorney Mr. Edom. All right then.
Unless it's soggy.
That lot's actually pretty good, so we should.
Actually, my wife sold it, so.
Wow. Okay then, you're finished, Lynn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Town Attorney Godot, do you have anything to report?
The only thing I wanted to update you on is, for P and Z Commission's upcoming November meeting, they will have a draft of the ordinance to extend the timeframe for construction to 2 years.
Right.
So that'll be moving forward, so you should see that in the December agenda.
All right,
Thank you.
perfect. All right, Chief Jones, would you present the police chief's report?
Yes, first and foremost, I would like to give everybody an update on Old Ocean signage. That is a topic that obviously we have now been about 60 days following the approval of that project. It is still in the makings. When we gave that project to the vendor initially, they were estimating that it would be about 16 weeks, so we're at halfway point now. Some of the signs are probably going to start being produced at this point, meaning that we may start to see some of them come in. But we will obviously keep you posted month to month from this point forward to let you know where we're at with those signs. As with all the other supply chain issues, they are facing the same thing, as the signs require vinyl, metal, and wood. So we're kind of, at their,
Mercy.
be cautious at this point. Just get it when we get it, I guess. For everyone who typically participates in the Christmas toy drive, the annual toy drive that has started, we will be running that through December 5th. So again, any unwrapped toy, please drop it off at the police department. Officer Boyle, who is with us tonight, runs that program, and she makes sure that all of those toys make it to the neediest children in Palm Beach County. And she does an awesome job at that. So thank you for your help, and thank you to the residents for participating. One of the other things that we wanted to highlight for the month is, as you all are aware, we requested donations previously for Hurricane Ian relief that was going to go specifically to a small law enforcement agency. We had sought out an agency to get all of our donations to, which we had a trailer full of things that residents dropped off and police officers donated, as well as about $1,800 that residents donated and about $1,800 that police officers collected and donated. And all of those funds ended up going to a female police officer that works for the Henry County Sheriff's Office but lives in Lee County, and she lost her entire home, her vehicle, and all of her belongings, and she has 4 children. So.
What about the dogs? She lost dogs?
And she lost animals as well. So with all that being said, we felt it a best suit to pair up with that agency, so we did do that. We delivered those items to her agency on our behalf, and obviously for her. And I think that they were overwhelmed with emotions and appreciation from the residents and our agency. So thank you all again for participating in that. Transparency is a big issue in law enforcement these days, so I just want to remind everyone in our community that we are a transparent law enforcement agency, and what that means to you all is that if you ever have any questions whatsoever, feel free to please come in and talk to us, or call us and we'll come visit you. We'll be more than happy to open our doors, open our records, and provide you with documentation that you truly get the opportunity to see yourself and know whether or not we're being honest with you. So we welcome your questions, we welcome your comments, and we welcome your insight so that we can truly become one with the community and make our relationship better with each of you as residents. And one last thing for the police department, we were asked by the Starbright Civic Initiative Group to provide an EMT presentation to their association or group, to provide them with some insight as to what it would require for the town to create and develop an EMT program that was beneficial to the residents. And their request was based on that they would like to help fund that program. That was done last week. That presentation, in my opinion, went very well. And I think we answered a lot of questions and provided a lot of insight. So we hope to bring back to the commission some additional information with regards to that program next month. And then if I could represent just for a second the building department. I know I'm much nicer than the building department.
Hey.
That's true.
I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just saying that I'm, always so bright and cheery. So the building department would like to remind all of the residents that building permit searching and status is now available online. They have some new business cards that are in the front lobby that have a QR code that we've assisted them in developing, that you can simply scan that QR code and then you can check the status of permits yourself on our website without you having to actually call and get a hold of a representative. So.
That's currently active?
That's currently active.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I use it.
It
Excellent.
works great.
Is it an Excel format and not a PDF anymore?
It's an Excel document within the website. We're working on some additional technical enhancements to make the process even easier, as well as some interactive processes within our website. Those changes will obviously come in the near future as well, but anything we can do to help on the technology side to break down the barriers and make it easier for you as residents as well as contractors to get that information, we obviously want to do that. So we'll continue those enhancements. And then as far as my regular report, it's contained within your packets. If you have any questions about any of that content, I'll be more than happy to answer it. There's nothing abnormal or unusual about that report. So we'll leave it at that point.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 23, the town engineer report was included in the packages. Are there any questions or comments? Unfortunately, we don't have Lisa here, but all good with the engineer report? All righty then. Building official reports in the package.
I have a question on building official report.
Okay, 24.
Is there any more information on the change from Tyler Technologies problem? Now we're on my government system, or?
The contract is with Christie for review.
Which one?
With My Government Online.
My government, right?
Yeah.
And then we have to work out.
See about the Tyler Technologies thing?
I thought we bounced it.
I think
Well,
that
they
they didn't
bounced
even
us, yeah.
respond.
Yeah.
All that money?
No, Tyler's gone.
Or they're like
Right.
gone?
The chief's sorting it out.
Yeah, we have some logistical issues with the new software that the building department wants to move forward with. It's actually a building department out of Louisiana that offers the service as a subscription model. And that obviously doesn't interface with our finance management system or any of the town systems that are currently in place or the ones that we're looking to move forward with in the future. So we want to work out how we can make those systems communicate with one another to create the most efficient process so that you don't have, a resident paying a permit fee online through the permit system and then that not transferring to the finance system within town hall. We want to try to make those processes as smooth as possible and as efficient as possible so that there's less hands in the pot and less staff time doing them. So it creates obviously more opportunity for us to make improvements in other areas.
So just so everyone knows what's going on, what did Tyler want, 28,000?
Tyler Technologies was an $80,000 initial deployment cost with an additional $28,000 annual cost that we would be paying each year. The new company that the building department has preferenced is going to cost us $0 upfront and $10,000 per year. So an overall savings just in year one of over $100,000.
So we'll see how it works.
Fingers crossed. All right. You have comments, I have comments. All right, I wanted to make a comment about our town manager search. Whoop. Hello. All right. Just as the public and some of the commissioners personally researched and reached out to candidates, please know that the past candidates and now those who might find themselves interested in this position are also doing their own research. This means they will be looking into the press stories, our local press stories regarding Ocean Ridge, as well as listening to past, present, and future commission meetings to get a feel as they listen to what the town is and their positions. So please remember the big picture. Ocean Ridge is a pretty darn nice place. We got a slice of heaven going on here. And to get the very best candidates, I believe we need to put our best face forward and show what a wonderful place this will be to work. We want to attract people. So with that being said, I'll also make a reminder, probably third time around here, that the town in partnership with the Garden Club will be holding a Veterans Day ceremony on 10 a.m. We would love any of y'all to show up. It's always a nice and brief event. Our chief will be there with some of his officers that are all veterans. We have a color guard. I think it'll be impressive and would love to have some people there. All right, did you have something to add to your comments?
I did. It recently came to my attention, and it may come as a surprise to my fellow commissioners, that our chief of police is working without a contract. It is highly unusual for a chief of police to work without a contract. We've always had a contract for our chiefs of police, and I just wanted to gain consensus from my fellow commissioners to have Christy enter into negotiations with our chief. I think he is an invaluable asset. Not only does he do wonderful policing and has built that department, but he is also our IT specialist, and he does that all without any additional pay, but a lot of additional hours, so.
All right. Would we like a consensus to make that move forward, or do we need a discussion on this? What do you think? What direction should we go to address Vice Mayor DeJesus? I was asking Trish.
It'd just be a consensus, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Just consensus is
Okay.
fine. And if it's all right, I'd like to hand that duty over to Laura in our office. She's
Your
more
labor.
leaner than I am.
That's your labor lady.
Fine
All
by
right,
me.
so everybody good with that?
If I make a,
Oh, yeah.
make a comment here. So one of the reasons why this is actually necessary, I think, is, and to be clear about this, is because the chief's position, we have two main employees. Our town manager has a contract, and the chief of police needs a contract, because even though the chief of police is technically supervised by the town manager, in our particular charter, it is that we up here are the only ones that can terminate the agreement with the chief of police. For that reason, I believe it is necessary that he needs to have a contract, and obviously needs to be protected.
Well,
A second.
it works for the town too. Contracts
Oh,
go both ways.
Exactly, it goes both ways, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. All right, so we have consensus
Don't
to
wanna
move
lose it.
forward. Laura, you'll ask Laura if she'll help. Kelly, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I did, I just wanted to let you guys know that I have a new employee starting on the 14th.
Yay.
Part-time building clerk. Office clerk, she'll be in the front answering questions, answering the phone. Her name's Susan.
Oh.
Very nice lady.
Hmm.
So say hi. And the other thing is, I'm going to be doing it at other towns I've worked with, comment cards. They'll be in the back. I didn't get time to print any out this time. But whenever you guys come up to the podium, you'll have the comment cards pre-filled out, or if you decide to speak, spur of the moment, just fill it out that way and get your proper name and address for the record. And I have to try to guess.
And we can get, this is all in order to simplify your effort on getting all this into the minutes and what have you and on the record.
I would definitely state that very strongly at the beginning of next meeting if you have it organized.
Yes.
All right,
But
well,
it's not a must.
Let's, one more time with that. You're gonna put comment cards on the dais for people to write their name, that they came up here if they choose to.
Correct.
Yes, if they do it at that time, or they can do it before.
Or they can pick one up in the back when they.
Or they
come.
cannot do it.
But my thing is, that is an option. It should not be a requirement.
Correct.
Right, I don't
in
think
this
we
town.
discussed any
We're not gonna have somebody
requirement.
fill out a comment card and we decide who comes up here and speaks.
No, this is to help her with the notes. If they don't want to fill it out, then sorry, Kelly, you'll have to work harder at trying to hear that recording. But
Well, we
this is
have
supposed to-
we have a recording too. It helps.
I know, it's not that easy.
Your ability to speak shall not be infringed by your ability to write and read.
No, I
Jeff.
think it's what happens with a comment card, and I'll be very clear. When you have to fill out a comment card, and you're coming in and fill out a comment, it stifles public comment when people have a reaction to something that happens in the meeting. So when you're listening to me, a lot of people will come and have an idea what questions they want to ask. But a lot of folks will come here and then read the agenda and then say, you know what, I'm gonna have a couple public comment on. So you're stifling spontaneity in public comment. And a lot of times people come up here with public comment, actually have comments that really affect our decisions, at least affects my decision. Because it may be something that, hey, you know what, I never thought of that. That's a great idea. Or maybe it's not a great idea. But still, I'm not a believer in signing or doing anything on a public comment card and having to ask a question or having to turn in a card to ask a question. Now, if you want to make sure that your name gets in the public record without stating it, or you have to state it and they didn't hear it, yeah, fill out the comment card. But it's only optional.
Correct.
And I'll be totally against anything else.
Yes.
I think we were good with that.
The idea was Kelly asked for this 3
Right.
times. She wants
Exactly
to
right.
try it, so it was a painless way to try it. It's optional.
Right, but I want to make sure it's clear because most folks will come in
It's
and
not
see that and they'll
mandatory.
be like, oh, I got to fill out this card.
It's not mandatory, and it's mostly for the help here. Action item minutes.
All right.
And if you're gonna make public comment, you're gonna be on the public record. I don't understand where you're coming from, so.
I don't think you should have to fill out a form to make a couple of public comments.
But
That's
you won't
where I'm
have
coming
to, but we're going to offer that to try and help our town
You
clerk.
might think a little bit more about the comment you make.
from. No, then
That's
I
not
disagree. That's the whole point of spontaneity. If you can't take it, then don't be up here.
All right, so we're there. Anything else anybody needs to add? I think we got it all done.
No, 'cause
What's our time here?
that stuff is-
7:47. All right, I call the meeting adjourned at 7:47 PM.
All right.